Hey friends, how y'all doing today? The other day I made a short about taking on other people's karma, and I'm the type of person that I don't like when somebody says something and then they don't explain what exactly they mean. So that's why I'm making this video. So like when I say be careful who you date because you don't want to take on someone else's karma, I'm basically saying that if you well, first of all, you got to take time to know people, um and in this day and time I don't feel like there's any question that is stupid, right? And if it is stupid to the person and they feel uncomfortable answering it, then just move along. So like, it's fair to ask, how did you grow up? And I'm not saying just out the gate, I'm saying after texts back and forth and conversations, during dinner and things like that. But it's fair to ask somebody, did you grow up in a 2-parent household? Um, how were you with your siblings? Um, Things like that. Did your mother and father work? Was your mother a stay-at-home mom? Things like that. Those things are important because those are the things that shape us to how we are going to view life when we get older, right? What we view as acceptable. Sometimes people go through things that they didn't like in their early years, so they're like, I'm never going to do that. So it just depends. So you have to feel somebody out, right? So with that being said, in those conversations you'll find out, people's, like, how they feel about certain things, things that they feel like, for instance, if you find that this person is okay with like scamming and things like, basically things that don't align with your values and morals, and they find it acceptable, it's probably not going to be a good idea to continue with that person, right? Because common sense is going to tell us that if they're okay with that stuff doesn't last forever, and eventually it comes back, like stealing and things like that. It can be as simple as them stealing from their job, or and we might say, oh, that's a big company, they don't care, they're not going to know, but I mean, that's stealing is stealing. Now, I'm not saying that if they did certain things back in the day, like well before they met you, and they've changed those ways and now they don't have those same views, no, that's not the same. I'm saying if they did it back then, doing it now, still feel like it's okay now while you're dating them. That's what I mean. Because all of us can say, we've done this or done that. None of us are perfect, but we're talking about the here and right now. How do you feel about it now? And if they're like, oh, ain't nothing wrong with that, and you got to do what you got to do, yeah, no, because at the end of the day, a lot of us are well over like 30 and above. So if you're still doing the things that you were doing in your 20s and your teens, there's a huge problem. There's a huge problem, because we're supposed to evolve. And like I said, 9 times out of 10, if those people are still doing those things, they probably have karma attached to them. And when you intertwine yourself with them, then it belongs to you too. So we have to really, really pay attention to things. Really, really, because a lot of times, I was in a situation where I seen red flags for years. And I don't know. I just kept saying, well, I'll just, deal with it for now, or, maybe he'll change. And I literally when I think about it now, I can think about probably 1,252,000 red flags that I saw and ignored. No lie. But, well, that's exaggerating a little bit. I did lie. But no, at the end of the day, I went through those things. I learned those things. But we're in a situation now, especially with like YouTube videos like this. You don't have to go through them. Like, as soon as you hear this and you think about the person that you're dating, you might be like, oh no, he don't do none of that. Then you're fine. Continue with that person, love on that person, let them love you. This wouldn't be that. But if you listen to this and you hear anything and it's like sketchy, like, oh yeah, he did say blank blank blank, then just check it out. I'm not saying immediately disregard the person, but I'm just saying, like, and another thing too is, don't give a person an opportunity. I like to say that I like to allow people to do what they want to do so that I can see what they rather do. Like, if you see how somebody is moving, I don't even want to tell them that I don't agree with that, because then they may even try to switch up just because they feel like I don't like it. No, do what you want to do so I can see what you rather do. And I can make my judgment based upon that as to whether you are worth my time or not. This will alleviate a lot of unnecessary karma that you have to take on. Like, seriously. And when I say that, I mean like things starting to happen that, before you got with this person wasn't happening. Cars being wrecked, illnesses, like a whole bunch of drama. And then if you stop and think about, like, wait a minute, before I got with this person, my life was peaceful and calm. Like, what's going on? Yeah, they saying they love me, and we go out, we do this, we do that, and we have fun and blah blah blah. But why is my life so much harder just by being attached to this person? It could possibly be that you're dealing with karma that they came with. Because I feel like a person is supposed to make your life easier. You're supposed to make their life easier. Now, I'm not saying that every day is just going to be perfect, but somebody like your significant other going through, like, let's just say, let me give you an example. So like getting fired from a job, right? Like, or no, I won't even say getting fired. Let's just say the company that they work for closed up, and now they're all in a depression, and what am I going to do in this, that, and third? Like, helping somebody that was already stable get back on their feet. It might be a little bit of a rough patch, to get them back on track, but y'all work together, and eventually, within a month or so, y'all are back on track. They have a job, you have, whatever the case may be, something like that. And you help them keep their head level. You help them, with a little bit with their finances. Again, we're talking about somebody that's already stable. So it's not going to be like they're just down and out forever. So, like that, versus if you get with somebody and next thing you know, the police is on the door, or the baby mama and the baby father, they're banging on it, like stupid stuff. Why are you not taking care of your kids and stuff? And that kind of thing. Like, that's not okay. Those two things are not the same, right? So I think that at the end of the day, we're going to make the choices that we make, but we have to be, and I know a lot of times it can be emotional. Especially I realize people now, see, I didn't really have this problem, but I see a lot of people, as soon as they get out of a relationship, they're in a hurry to get into another one. Those kind of lead to situations where you won't make the most sound decision as you would if you were to wait and, like, you know, kind of heal yourself first. So then you start kind of not seeing it, but you kind of start disregarding things that you should be paying attention to because you're trying to get to the next relationship so fast. You definitely don't want to do that, right? You definitely don't want to do that. Like I said, I didn't really have that problem because I kind of was always aware of, I learned a lot in that relationship, a lot. So it is something, like, I was willing to wait. I didn't, you know, it's different when you don't need somebody for something. Then, like, when you don't need people for something, then it makes it a lot easier to be able to sustain life. And I'm not even just talking about money. I'm talking about, like, I mean, it could include money, I guess, but I'm not even talking about money. I'm talking about when you're confident in yourself and, you know, your mind is stable, and, you know, you can pretty much handle your basic necessities yourself. Like, then it's like you don't have to, most people like that are not in a super rush to jump into the next relationship, so they wait. And, you know, and a lot of times those situations turn out more favorable than people rushing. But like I said, at the end of the day, you just want to make sure you know people. You want to make sure that you're filling them out. You want to make sure you're paying attention to virtually everything. And I don't think it's a thing to be like, oh, am I tripping? Like, did I just see that? Yeah, you did. You did. You don't have to second guess yourself, because that make you double back on things that you already know you saw. So, yeah, that's pretty much all that I had on this one. If I said anything that was helpful, definitely like the video, share it with somebody who might need it, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell also, so that when I upload my next one, you can be notified. All right, I love y'all. See y'all later.